Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Today I'm doing a speech on the Flint water crisis. Um, the average American family uses more than 300 gallons of water per day. 70% of this usually occurs indoors. 30% of this typically occurs outdoors. This can vary depending on where you live. I'm sure that in Colorado, the outdoor percentage is a little higher, being that it is a drier state. No big deal though, right? Well, imagine waking up one day and you no longer have access to clean, safe water. What would you do? What does this mean for you and your family? Well, that's what has occurred right here in our country. The city of Flint, Michigan has been without clean water since 2014. I chose this topic because my hometown is only 30 minutes away. And I always think, what if this had happened to my family and we were affected by this crisis? It's been nearly 4 years and still there is no resolution to this problem. How did all of this occur is what I'm sure you're wondering. Flint had been relying on water from Lake Huron from the Detroit Water Department for 50 years. Although the source was good quality, it had become extremely expensive. This caused the state to go under a state of emergency to switch to a new water department. The switch required them to temporarily use the Flint River as its source. Soon after the switch, Flint residents complained of dark-colored, foul-tasting, smelly water, as, as well as skin rashes and hair loss. Still, the residents were assured by officials that the water was safe. According to them, treating river water was more complex than the lake water, and this was just a minor bump in the road. However, according to Anna Clark, the upgrades to the plant were insufficient to deal with that. The water hadn't been treated with something called corrosion control. And this is something that you add to the water to keep our very old, ill-maintained water lines from breaking down and having metals contaminate the water. There had been a series of bacterial issues and other issues before the lead came on the radar. There had been a huge outbreak of Legionnaire's disease. Legionnaire's disease is a type of pneumonia caused by bacteria. This is what killed the people. The toxic effects of the lead would take longer to surface, such as miscarriages and reproductive problems in adults, and children, aggressiveness, anemia, and stunted growth. It wasn't until October of 2015 that government officials actually acknowledged a problem. This was only after residents elevated public awareness and gathered national attention. The water was still unsafe to drink. In January of 2016, a lawsuit was filed to compel the city of Flint and Michigan officials to follow the Safe Water Drinking Act. Then in November of 2016, a federal court ordered Michigan state officials and the city of Flint to ensure that every home have access to safe water. However, despite the ruling against them and its efforts to force them to comply with the order, they refused. In December of 2016, a mediator was hired to help resolve these issues in the case. It wasn't until March of 2017 that the city of Flint and state of Michigan agreed to replace the lead service lines and institute an effective lead management system. I'm going to show you a brief video that summarizes what has gone on with this water crisis.
In tonight's Whatever Happened To, a look at one city's crisis that caught the attention of the nation. Jody on Twitter wanted to know whatever happened to the water in Flint, Michigan. And on Facebook, Stephanie Forbes Hayward said that she would like to hear some follow-up on the Flint water crisis because she heard the issue has not been resolved. Well, Jody and Stephanie, tonight, senior correspondent Mike Tobin has an update.
Ever since Justice McDonald has been big enough to brush his own teeth, he's done it with bottled water.
We have no other option. I'm definitely not going to take the chance on my children's health.
In April of 2014, under emergency management, Flint, Michigan switched from the Detroit water system to the Flint River as a temporary solution to save money. Residents complained about smell, even hair loss from the water. Lead contamination was detected when doctors found lead in children. Here's the culprit, one of the lead pipes in the city of Flint water system. You see, the water out of the Flint River didn't necessarily have lead in it. What it had was a corrosive chemical. And when that water ran through these household pipes, it ate away at the lining right there, therefore exposing the household water to lead. Once the leaching of the lead starts, you can't stop it. Crews are at work. 3 years into the problem, less than 25% of the lead pipes have been replaced. Poisonous water flows into most housings.
I'm confused as to why help just hasn't poured into the city just to replace everybody's pipes.
Brigadier General Michael McDaniel was appointed to oversee the replacement in February of 2016.
Well, there was no project at that point. Nothing had been done.
People in Flint believe recovery is slow because they are poor.
I think a lot of the issues that we deal with at the state and federal levels would be different if you were interacting with people who had influence.
12 people died of Legionnaire's disease after bacteria festered in stagnant pipes. Now 15 state and city officials are facing criminal charges ranging up to involuntary manslaughter.
You taking Thomas?
The McDonald's 4-year-old son Josiah is autistic. There is no conclusive link, but some studies suggest lead poisoning contributes to autism. At some point, city leaders will tell families to drink the water again.
You still don't trust them. You can't trust the word in this side.
Citing a breathtaking failure of leadership, a federal judge gave council members a deadline of last week to come up with a permanent source for the water. Council members missed that deadline and requested a temporary solution. Brian, back to you.
Mike, thank you.
4 years ago.
Although this settlement took place nearly 18 months ago, and this is still an ongoing court battle between Flint residents and government officials, my hope is that I brought awareness to this issue within our country and that this issue will soon be resolved. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you.